All right, and we are live. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. All right, so here's the deal, right? I know I had a lot of critical things to say about Ronda Rousey. And why wouldn't I have critical things to say? Because there were critical things to say about Ronda Rousey. And what I want to see here, it's not likely to happen, but it's what I want to see happen. All right. And it's, in all honesty, for her own legacy. Because there's a lot of talk right now in the mainstream sports media that Ronda Rousey is done. Right? She's done. She's finished. Finito. Vámonos. Fuera aquí. She's done. Right? And look, more than likely, they're right. More than likely, she may never have another fight again. Because they're talking about her pursuing other avenues, right? And look, she's made a lot of money, $3 million just on her last fight, right? She's a millionaire, so there's no reason for her to to need to fight. But she wants, if she wants to fight, a comeback is most definitely possible, right? So let me tell you why. I get it. She lost 2 in a row, right? You know, she lost 2 in a row. And she lost them in pretty devastating fashion. This last one was just, it was bad. No offense whatsoever. She just got, like she stole something from Amanda Nunes, right? She got humiliated the whole night. And again, right, the way she acted afterwards and, didn't stay for the post-fight press conference, did no media. All that stuff was bad. I criticized her for it, but here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, right, Ronda Rousey could make a comeback, all right? She can. It's possible, right? Will she ever be champion again? I don't think so, right? But I want to see her do another run for it. But there has to be a chase for it, right? I mean, she shouldn't just jump into a title shot right away, right now. No way. But she could start a road to redemption. Now, the first step is she's going to have to change trainers. I mean, in MMA, first of all, you don't have a trainer, all right? That's number one. It's not like boxing, right? She needs to go to an MMA gym with world-class trainers of all types, okay? With real world-class boxing trainers, with real world-class kickboxing trainers, real world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu trainers, the whole nine, with a team of mixed martial artists, world-class mixed martial arts. She needs to be surrounded by greatness. That's what she needs. She needs to have sparring partners that, are world-class. She needs to be put in positions that are almost impossible to get out of, right? Against much bigger men and, in grappling or what have you, right? She needs to be in an elite mixed martial arts gym. That's what she needs. That's number one, all right? This whole yeah, I'm training with Edmund thing is not working out. It's just not working out. Like I'm just, I learned I was a judo Olympian, and then I'm gonna learn hands with Edmund. It's just not working out. That thing is, it's not. She needs to drop Edmund. There's no other way around it. This dude's a terrible trainer. And for anybody saying, well, it's easy to say now, look, it's people have been saying this for a long time, right? For a long time. So that's number one. She needs to have a team around her that has a formula, a team around her that has a game plan, a team around her that's going to put her down that path the way it needs to be done. So this is a big if she decides to come back, that's step number one. Her first fight should not be in the octagon. Her first fight should not be in any type of professional ring. Her first fight has to be in sparring against elite people in an elite gym. All right? That's what needs to be done. So that's numero uno. Okay, that's numero uno right off the bat. You know, it's you got to shake off any type of fear you have in the gym. What else? What else does she have to work on? She needs to work on takedowns. Ronda Rousey doesn't have to work on takedowns. Yeah, she does. Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm already knew what to do about her judo throws. They already knew what to do. They easily shook her off. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. She knows judo throws. Great. Nothing wrong with that. But she needs to learn how to get takedowns. A double leg or a single leg. Right? People, like, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but she's not really good at takedowns. Look at her fights. She took opponents down with judo throws when they didn't know what the fuck a judo throw was. Right? It reminds me a little bit of Caro Parisian, I believe that was his name. When he first went into the UFC, I mean, he was doing judo throws where, like, it caught guys off guard. Like, whoa, how the fuck he do that? But once they knew what to do and how to defend it, you know, he couldn't take guys down. She needs to learn takedowns. She needs to learn wrestling, jiu-jitsu, right? She needs to work at this at a world-class level. Well, why were Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes just... Did you see Holly Holm? Holly Holm, right, had no fear of the takedown whatsoever, right? She was in a full-fledged boxing stance half of that fight. How does that happen? You never see Holly Holm do that against other girls in that division that know how to wrestle. Have you ever asked yourself, you know, why was Holly Holm taken down, you know, by, what's her name? Former champion, right? But 2 fights ago, she was taken down and choked out, right? If she would have made it till the end, she would have won by decision, right? But she was taken down, choked out, right? Rousey tried judo throws on her. It didn't work. So that's number 2. She has things to work on. There are things she could improve on. When the last time you seen, like, Ronda Rousey, like, doing ground and pound? Or you just don't see that. You see her work her arm bars. What happens when the arm bar doesn't work? What happens when these girls figure out the arm bar? You don't think the men know how to do arm bars? Yes, they do, right? There's been a lot of judokas in the UFC, and they know arm bars. But guys, they just know how to defend them better, right? Once the women evolve, they know how to defend arm bars. You got to do more than an arm bar, right? Now, I'll repeat. It doesn't mean that you never use a judo throw ever. It's good to have in your arsenal. And it doesn't mean, you know, that you're never going to take advantage of an arm bar. It's good to have in your arsenal. But she has more to work on. And this is Monday Morning Quarterback, but hindsight is 2020. And when you really go back and you look at some of her fights, they were kind of deceiving wins, right? The Kat Zingano fight. Kat Zingano, like, literally fucked up. She charged at Ronda Rousey and tried to take her to the ground and left herself very open for against Rousey, who was very, very good at, you know, submissions from almost any position. Okay, the armbar she did on Kat Zingano was a thing of beauty. Okay, that thing was beautiful, right? But I mean, who's to say the fight wouldn't have turned out different if she didn't do that one little tactic, right? A lot of her fights ended early. Like, they were, like, not that long, her fights. So we never had a moment to digest just how good Rousey was, because her fights are finishing very early, right? Most of them. in the first round. So we couldn't quite digest, okay, how good is this girl really? So that's for step number one. And now step number two, in her road to redemption, she needs to fight a girl outside of the top 10. Hell, I'd put it in there against a girl that can't strike worth a shit. I know what people are going to say. Oh, well, that's bullshit. Why not? It's her comeback, right? Build some confidence, right? Don't put her in there against her kryptonite. Make sure she gets a win. Just get a win. Go in there and get a win, right? Once you get that win, then you face a girl still outside of the top 10, but that's a decent striker, and see where you're at, right? See where you're at. See where you could improve. I have a feeling that if she takes that route and then from there climb to the top 10, okay, then work your way to the top 5 and maybe a title shot, I have a feeling she could do it. But it's going to take 4 or 5 fights to do it, right? That's why it's unlikely, but it's if she's going to do it, that's the way it has to be done, right? It's going to take her changing camps, getting 4 or 5 fights, under her belt. Work on different things. If she's one thing, she's athletic. Okay, if she's one thing, she does have, she does have punching power. Ronda Rousey, she has knocked girls out, right? And she does have, very good, judo. And if she could add to her ground game with wrestling and jiu-jitsu, she could be a force again. She can. Now, she's not going to be a force if she's stubborn and thinks, no, I'm going to stay with Edmund. I got it all figured out. Then no, she's just going to come back and get knocked out every time she comes back. All right? But she needs to surround herself by elite fighters. Right? She needs to surround herself by elite trainers. Different eyes. There has to be more to when you're facing a striker like a Holly Holm or an Amanda Nunes. You're not going to be able to punch your way through that. You have to have different avenues to take her down, right? You have to let her know, I may go low, I may go for a leg, I may come closer to clinch and for a judo throw. I may throw a punch, I may throw a kick, I may do different things. I may come in aggressively one moment. I may have you come at me one moment. You got to be unpredictable. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to have a team around you, and that's what she needs. These gyms exist, and they can help her, right? They can. And for anyone who says, "Nah, well, she's done. She can't do it," you're probably right, right? You're probably right. But in all honesty, I actually want to see her do a comeback. I do. I want to see her make a comeback. I want to see her come back and get like 3 straight wins. And the only reason I want to see her do a comeback is because the mainstream media that knows nothing about mixed martial arts they're just spewing shit just to spew it, right? Let me tell you what happened in this situation with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, right? If you were to listen to like Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, he makes it sound like the women's division just all of a sudden evolved to a whole nother level. That's not what happened, right? Have they improved over time? Of course, but it's not like another level, okay? Rousey could still beat most of these girls, right? In fact, a lot of the girls Rousey's already beat, like Kat Zingano, has a win over Nunes, right? So it's not like a whole nother new breed of fighters. It's not that, right? It's partially the fact that she didn't evolve, right? When you look at the matches and stuff like that, yes. But also Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm were just all wrong for Ronda Rousey. But not every girl in that division is that good of a striker. They're just not, right? Misha Tate, that's her name, right? Look at Misha Tate. I don't think Misha Tate could ever beat Ronda Rousey. Right? The two fights I've seen, her style doesn't mesh up well against Rousey. It just doesn't. Right? And Misha Tate, nobody's saying like, oh, the sports surpassed Misha Tate, or like nobody's saying that. They're just saying this about Rousey. Right? But if there's one thing Rousey could learn from Misha Tate is that you could improve. They could add more to your arsenal. They don't just give up when you lose. And I want to see Ronda Rousey get back in the saddle, right? And go for that chase, right? Because look, acting isn't going to work out. She's a great actor, said no one ever of Ronda Rousey. What a great actress she is. Nobody's ever said that, right? Nobody's going to go see Ronda Rousey movies anymore. The mystique is gone, right? It's gone. The mystique is gone. Nobody wants to see it. Right? Nobody wants to go see Ronda Rousey. It's just the mystique is gone. Nobody's going to go pay money in the theater to watch an action movie of Ronda Rousey. Because all they're going to think about is Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. That's all they're going to think about. So what is she going to do? Maybe she does retire and calls it a day. I don't know. But I swear to God, I want to see a comeback. I really do. I want to see her do a comeback. Honest to God. And if one day in the future she holds that title again, I'm telling you that will be a hell of a redemption story. It really would. But even if she doesn't hold the title ever again, but just comes back, fights some contenders, beats some, loses to some, and works her way up, becomes a top 5 fighter or something like that, and then maybe loses her one title shot again, and then that's it. Even if that were to happen, it would still be a redemption story. It would still, prove to a lot. And if she improves as a fighter as well, people will be able to look at that and say, look, maybe she didn't get the title back, but damn, like she came back, she did it the right way. She beat some contenders and she had some good fights and she worked her way up to a title shot again. She lost, but hey, she gave it a shot. She gave it a go. She improved as a fighter. Then to me, that's a redemption story. Right? I want to see it. I do. I want to see it. I know people are like, fuck her. And she'll go to hell. Look, I know. The UFC gave her, great, treatment that they never given anybody else. I get it, man. I get it. I know. But that's, you could say it's partially her fault, but hey, that's the UFC's doing. I want to see her make a comeback. Because honestly, what if they were to put Kat Zingano again against Amanda Nunes? I think Kat Zingano beats her again. I do. And what is everybody going to think about? Hey, that's the girl that lost like in 10 seconds to Ronda Rousey. Right? So there's still, some life there that can be brought back, for Ronda. You know what I mean? I still think there's women in that division she can beat. And she could be matched up well. And at this point, after losing 2 in a row, I think it's okay to put her in against an opponent that matches up well for her. It's okay to be a matchmaker, for 1 or 2 fights, to put her back in the winning column and back in the top 10. It's okay to do that, right? As long as, she's going to have to fight her way through the contenders. And I think she will. I do. Like, do I think she can beat Amanda Nunes? You might think I'm crazy. You might say, oh, DStyle's a fucking idiot. You could say whatever you want, but now, look, I'm not saying I would favor her to beat Amanda Nunes, but can she beat her? Yeah. If she takes Amanda Nunes to the ground, yes, she could beat her. Yes, she can. Right? If she's mentally there, she can do it. It's possible. It is a possibility. Right? This isn't like boxing where like somebody just beats the shit out of you and it's clear. That's it. Because that's the only way you fight with the fist. Right? That's not the reality in MMA. right? In mixed martial arts, being able to take a punch is important. It is, but it's not as important as it is in boxing because you have other avenues, right? Another thing. Here's another thing, right? Again, I know, like right now, people are kicking Rousey because she's down, and it's easy to kick her while she's down. And hell, I had 2 in the ribs too. I kicked her a couple times too. But right, this whole like she doesn't have a chin, and let me tell you something. Okay, number one, okay, a lot of this is, first of all, her trainer's awful, right? He just is. I mean, he had her charging Holly Holm, and Holly was landing some straights. And what's funny is after getting battered in that first round, she goes back to the corner, and Edmond tells her, "Oh, all she has is a right hand. That's it. She doesn't have anything else." Are you serious, dude? That's your advice? That's all you have to say? Now, obviously, he was wrong about that because what knocked her out? Does anybody remember what knocked her out? Right? Obviously, this guy didn't do much, looking into Holly Holm, because all of Holly Holm's knockouts in MMA, except for one, I believe, are from a kick to the head. Holly's never been a knockout artist with her hands. Even in boxing, she wasn't knocking girls out with her hands, right? She was mostly winning decisions, right? So this idea that, oh, she just has her right hand, don't worry about it. So why did you still have her charging towards her? I mean, she made Holly Holm's right hand, by the way, look like a fucking pistol. I mean, like, whoa. Like I said a couple videos ago, if that was the first time you saw Holly Holm fight, you would think that was she was a monster puncher, right? And she had her fight Amanda Nunes the same way. A girl that does have punching power. This is insane, right? So, first of all, the way Edmond has her fight puts her in position to take punches, obviously, but her coming forward like that so aggressively with no head movement, I mean, as long as your opponent, catches you, you're doing half of the work for your opponent. I mean, you're putting force into that shot, right? So, can't she take a punch? Yeah, she took a lot of punches from Holly Holm. The kick knocked her out, but I mean, that kick would have, at that point, knocked any girl out, okay? Also, the Amanda Nunes, Rousey's not the first girl she's done that to, right? She's done that to a lot of girls, but let's not forget, okay? I know people are laughing at her, Ronda Rousey, and she was drowsy, but let's not forget and it was a good stoppage, but she took a big shot early, and yeah, she was wobbly, this, that, but what you can't take away from her is that she was trying, number one, right? And yeah, she got clowned for it and memes, this, that, and the third, but she was trying. She never gave up, right? She didn't do the Brock Lesnar where she got in the ground and turtled herself up or something like that. Remember when Lesnar did that shit, right? She didn't do any of that. If the ref didn't stop it, she was going to get knocked the fuck out again. There's no doubt about that. But she was willing to go out on her shield. You got to give it to her. Right? So when people say, well, she doesn't have a chin. Look, there's no one who would be able to fight Holly Holm with that game plan and not get knocked out. Right? And there's no one that could fight Amanda Nunes with that same game plan and not get knocked out. That's my point. Right? So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I want to see the comeback. I really do. There's some up-and-coming MMA fighters that, Ronda Rousey could fight. And some even match up well against her, for her. So let's see. Let's do the comeback, man. Let's just do it. The UFC could even make money off of this shit. Like, here comes the comeback. We'll see. Anyway, I'm out.